Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charles Fitting. In today's video, we'll be making beautiful Aso Oke Zara cap and one side ruffle pleated turban cap. So guys, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Now I have my Aso Oke fabric here. This is just a piece, one roll of the Aso Oke, one side, just one of it. Then I have my bridal satin that I'll be adding to it. So this is a long one. I just divided into two and top stitch on it the normal way we normally join Aso Oke. So it won't be enough. That's why I will be adding a bridal satin at the upper side so that it will be enough. Now I have my Mako here and wording as well. I'll be joining it together with my hot glue. I'll glue it together. I'll go ahead and glue it together with my hot glue for it to be more thick. Okay, I want it to be more thick than this. Now for the length here is 23.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut the same thing 23.5 on this fabric and join it together. This will be the side that will enter inside. By the time I wear it, this is the side I will be dropping at the hair round side. Understand? The hair area. So I'll just go ahead and cut out the same length here. Then I'll go ahead and join it together. By the time I join it together, I'll have about 19 inches. So I'll go and join it together to have that 19 inches. Then it will be having a big bow and a smaller one at the front side. For the smaller one, I will use the Aso Oke. This is the Aso Oke. I will just have to use it and make a bow. You can see like so. Just use it and make a bow. So for the length here is 15.5. You know the normal width is 6.5 inches. While the length is 15.5 inches. I'll just go ahead and sew through like so, leaving smaller like 2 inches where I will turn it inside out. Okay, now I'll have a bigger bow at the back. Now the length will be this 11 inches on fold, while the width is 9 inches. Is 11 inches by 9 inches. So for this, I'll go ahead and iron it with my hard gum stay to be thick. I'll iron it, then I'll close the same way I close up this edge. The same thing I will do to this one, I will do to the other one. So I'll go now and sew through all the side I showed you, after which I'll show you the next thing I'll do. I use my hot glue to join both the wording and the Mako together. You can see it's now together. And I went ahead to join the bridal satin to the Aso Oke. I've joined it at the back and went ahead to top stitch. So the next thing I'll do, this is the front and this is the Mako. You can see the folding already at this side. So I'll place my wording, I'll place it like so. The Mako is at the down part while the wording is at the upper side. I'll go ahead and fold it in like so. I'll top stitch. After top stitching, I'll fold it like so. By the time I'm through, I'll fold it like so. Then you can see we are having our Zara cap. So the first thing I'll do, I'll top stitch like so. Remember the circular part is facing up. You can see. So that by the time I'm done top stitching, I'll turn it over. Now at this side the Mako is facing up, that is that circle part. You can see, in order to achieve our Zara cap. So by the time I top stitch, then I'll place it like so. After top stitching, I'll fold it in, then at this side I'll close it up like so. Now I've top stitched on it, I went ahead to close it up at this edge. Remember to place it at the middle. You can see the ending part here. I have 2.5 inches. make sure that the marker is placed very well. So the next thing I'll do, I'll fold it like so. Then this is the front. From the back, I'll place it like so. This is the front. I'll turn it over to the other side. You can see. Then at this point, I'll close it up. I don't want it to be very loose. I'll just close it up with 1.5 inches. I don't want it to get right inside the skull. I want it at the upper side. So I'll close it up. I'll go ahead and trim off some parts. You can as well reduce it for it not to be much. You can see. I'll just go ahead and sew through this edge, after which I'll show you the next thing I'll do. Now I've sewn it, the next thing I'll do is to gather it at this edge. But before then, I'll show you how it is on this door head. You can see how it is. So I'll go and gather it. So guys, I've made a gather with my needle and thread. Then I want to make a ruffle at the center. In order to make the ruffle, I will gather this joined area of the ashoke with the bridal satin. I'll just make a running stitch on it. Just make sure that it's the excess part. Make sure you didn't touch the main cap. This is just the seam allowance I'm working with now. Just make a running stitch at the seam allowance. You can see. You can see how it is at this center part. You can see the ruffle, how it looks. I'll just go ahead and secure it. I'll go ahead and cut off the excess thread. So guys, we are done with the main body of the cap. You can see. I will then place it on my dummy hair for you to see before I will attach the bow. You can see this is the back, while this is the front. So the next thing we'll be doing is the bow. I've already sewn the edges and I turn it inside out to the right place, to the right side. The same thing to the smaller one. Now for the bow, I'll go ahead with my needle and thread and make a running stitch. You can see. I'll go ahead and tie it. I'll do the same thing to the big bow. Just fold it 2 equal parts, then make a running stitch. Then I sewed another one and I turned it inside out. So you can see. I'll first of all place the seam line at the center and sew it from the back like so. So that by the time I finish sewing, I will turn it to the right side. Now I will do the same thing to the smaller one. After sewing, I will turn it to the right side. Then I'll be using my hot glue to place it. You can as well tack it, or you can as well use hot glue. So after making the bow, what I will do, I'll place this smaller one on top of the bigger one. Then I'll go ahead and sew through. Now go to my sewing machine now and sew, after which I place the seam line at the upper side, that by the time I finish sewing, I'll turn it to the right side. So I will use my hand needle and sew through. After sewing, I'll secure it. I'll cut off the excess fabric. Then I'll go ahead and turn it to the right side. So after making the bow, you can see how beautiful it looks. Then I'll go ahead and attach it here using my hot glue. After which I'll show you the final picture of how it looks. Now I'll use my hot glue to join it to the cap. So guys, we are actually done with the Zara cap. I have to press it to make sure that the glue hold the bow very well. So guys, after making it, this is how it looks. You can see the back. You can see the ruffle at the center. You can as well use this as the front. So guys, after making, this is how it looks. So beautiful. One side ruffle pleated turban cap. You need the material. For this cap, I'll be using scuba fabric, a pair of scissors, your chalk, your tape measurements. Of course, you need your match thread. You use the thread of the same color of fabric you are using. So guys, let's get started. For the base of the cap, the normal head circumference is 22 inches. Now, I will not cut exactly 22 inches. I'll go ahead and cut 25 inches because by the time I'm through sewing, I have to trim off some excess parts. Mind you, when you are sewing a cap for a client, don't measure exactly the length. You have to add more. It's better, it's bigger, and maybe you shape it later on than when it's small. So guys, I'll use the measurement of 25 inches for the length, and the width is 15 inches. I'm using a scuba fabric. I'm not lining it. So this is for the base of the cap. Now for the band, I'll cut 2 inches on fold. That is, when you open it up, it should be 4 inches. But when you fold it into 2, it should be exactly 2 inches. Or you can make 2 1/4. So that by the time you are through sewing, everything will rhyme with 2 inches. So let's make it 2 1/4 inches. That will be the band. This 2 1/4. Now for this band, this is a plain band. There are so many types of band. We have V-shaped band, plain straight band, pleated band, crisscross band. There are so many types of band, but here we'll be using only straight band. So I'll measure exactly what I have for the base of the cap, which is 25 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. This is for a straight band. Now for the ruffle, I will need more than this. Let me just cut this into 2 first because I need a straight long pieces. The width is 5 inches. You can cut based on how you want the ruffle. If you want the ruffle to be bolder, you can go ahead and cut maybe 6 inches. But this one, I'll be cutting 5 inches. I don't want it to be much bolder like the one at the picture. You can make it more bolder by adding extra inches from the one I use. I'm using 5 inches, so you can decide to make it 6 or 6.5 depending on how bold you want it to look. So I'll go ahead and divide it into two. Okay, for you to achieve a very full ruffle, you have to make it very long. Here I'm having 32.5 inches. That's when I join it together, it will give me about 65 inches. So if you want the ruffle to be very full, you increase the length. You have to make it very long. I'm using this one to show you, for you to see how to achieve it. If you want it to be very full, you can as well make the length to be longer depending on how full you want it to be. Now we are done with the cutting stage. We have the full body of the cap, the band, and the ruffle side. So guys, the next stage will be the sewing stage. Now you can make your own plain. You can make it plainted depending on how you want it. On this particular one, we'll make it plain. This is a plain turban cap. I'll show you how to make. In the next one, I'll show you how to make a pleated turban cap. So this one is a plain one, and remember the length we are using is 15 inches. If it's the one I'm going to pleat, I will increase the length so that by the time after pleating, I will as well achieve a good length that will be okay for my cap. So if I'm to pleat it, I'll be adding extra inches. But for this one, this is a plain band cap. Now, if you check the picture very well, you notice that it has 3-step pleated. So I'm not going to make it all through plain. I'll just pleat 3-step like the picture you can see. I'll just fold it like so. I'm folding with 1.5 inches. You can fold it like this. Then the next thing is to top stitch. We are top stitching at the tip. Just use 1/4 of an inch. Just 1/4. You can see where my line is coming. Just sew through this upper side like so. From where I'm marking my chalk, you can see. Take it small down. You take it again, the next step, the same thing down, the third one down. You can see. After then, I'll show you the next thing. The next thing will be to add the band to it. By the time we are done with the pleat, we'll go ahead and fix the band before we'll close it up to sew the cap thoroughly. So I'll go to my sewing machine now and top stitch the way I showed you on top like so, just at the tip. I'll sew through. Now I've sewn the pleated side. You can see I made it 3 steps. That is, I'm having 4 lines, 1 2 3 4. But by the time I fold it, this is how it looks. You can see the 3 step here, and this is the side that has seam line. You can see how I sewn it. So if you want it to be more tiny, the plain to be more tiny, you can go ahead and use 1/2 inch or 1 inch depending on how you want it. So we are done with this side. The next thing we'll be fixing will be the band. Now this is the band. Remember, the rough side is the back while the smooth side is the front. Just fold it like so. So we'll fold it into 2 and place it on the right side. We are using the right side this time. You can see. I'll place it on the cap like so. Then I'll sew with 1/4 of an inch. I'll sew with 1/4 of an inch down straight. After sewing, I'll show you the next thing I will do. Now I've attached the band. You can see. The next step is to fold it into 2. I'll fold it into 2 and mark the midpoint of the cap. That is the middle. Then I'll open it up So this is my midpoint. With my needle and thread, I will gather this plinted side. I will just stop at that plinted side. I will not exceed that side. You can see. I will secure it and pass it again. I will run it for 3 times. Then I will take it again on the 2 sides. So at this point, I don't want this front side to be all through plain. I will locate the middle of the band. I'll just pick it small like so. You can see. Then I'll pass it again to the 3rd time. I actually passed the thread for 3 times. So I'll go ahead and secure it very well. You can see, by the time we are through printing, this is how it looks. Then I'll fold it into 2 again. At this point, I'll take the measurement. When you are closing it up like so, use 11 inches. That is 22. 11 inches. Go ahead and shape it to 10.5. So this is 11 inches. This is 11 inches, yeah? Then we'll start sewing from this back side. I'll just take 1/2 inch like so. At this point, I will not make it sharp as 4 corners as that. At this point, I will curve it. Now I will use 1/2 inch to close it up. At this side, I will curve it. You can see my chalk, the way I marked it. Then reach this side. I'll just curve it round. I'll sew through it. After then, I'll show you the next thing we'll be doing. Now I've sewn it round. The next thing I'll just trim off this sharp point. Then with my needle and thread, I'll make a running stitch, leaving the band. Don't touch the band. After the band seam line, you now make a running stitch, not from this seam line, but at this excess part. You can see the excess part. That's where I'll make the running stitch. You can see what I'm doing. Not inward, but outside the cap itself. You can see it's after the seam line. I'll run it. I'll stop at this tip side. You can see. I'll go ahead and secure it. Then I'll pass it through again for it to be very firm and strong. While doing it, just relax and do it. It's better it's tight than just doing it once and it will get loose easily. But mind you, be careful not to injure yourself with the needle. I'll go ahead and secure it for the last time. At this point, the cap is ready. I'll put it on my dummy head for you to see it. So guys, after making it, this is how it looks. Can see. Now the next step will be the ruffle side. I'm going to join these two pieces together. These are the two pieces we cut out for the ruffle. I'll put it together. Remember I told you if you want it to be more full, you can go ahead and cut the length that is more than mine. This one I'm having 62 inches altogether if I join it together. So if you want it to be very full the way you want, you can make it more longer, maybe 90 inches or so. So I'll join it together. After joining, from the wrong side, I'll fold it because we're going to turn it inside out. So I'll fold it in and sew with 1/4 of an inch all through the length. After then, I'll show you the next thing we'll be doing. Now I've joined it and I went ahead to sew through it. So the next thing I'll do is to turn it inside out to the right side. The next thing I'll do is to make a running stitch at this same side. You can see this is the side I sew. So I'll go ahead and make a running stitch from this same side. The running stitch I will make will be 1 inch different from each other. So I'm not going to go more than 1 inch. Make sure you pull any folded side out. Let the seam line be straight. Now, after making a running stitch, I would drag it, make a gather. You can see how it looks. I will drag it to the shape I want, to the length I want. I don't want it to be too close like that. I want it to be loose ruffle, not tight. Don't want it to be too tight. I'll just set it by dragging it to be loose, the way I want. Now this length is okay. This is how I want it. I don't want the ruffle to be too tight. So what I'll do now is to close it up like so. Then I'll tack it this way. You can see this is how I want it to come out to look. So I'll go ahead and tack it all through for it to stay firm. I'll first secure it so that it will not get too tight. I'll go ahead, you can see the way I place it. The two sides are together now. I will tack it from this side crossing to the other side to make sure that both of them are now together. So guys, after securing it, you can see the way it looks. I'll go ahead and secure it very well before I attach it to the main cap. Now I'll place it on my dummy head. I went ahead to join this side with my sewing machine. I'll close it up like so. Then I'll place it. If you check the picture, you will see how it looks. I'll just take it like so. I'll be tacking it from this side. You can see the ruffle. So I'll go ahead and tack it all through. At this point, I will remove it from this dummy head. I want it to start exactly from I'll just shift like 1 inch after the middle of the cap. Then I'll tack it. If you want, you can place it exactly. Okay, if I place it exactly, it will go down a bit. So let's place it exactly at the middle of the cap. Then I'll go ahead and tack it all through. So you make sure you tack it very well. Make sure you make it very strong. So at this point, you can see by the time I tack it, all these places are open. If you leave it, it will be open. But what I will do now is to be picking them. You can see as I've sewn through this band side, I'll just pick small from this ruffle. You can see, just to make sure that it's being covered very well. I will repeat it until everything is firmly fixed. As you are sewing it, don't drag it. Make sure it's very loose. You can see if you drag it, it will make everything to be folded. But if you allow it to be loose, it will be on its own and stand out very well. So guys, we are through. You can see how it looks. So guys, make sure you try your own. It's very simple and easy to make. You know, practice makes perfect. I hope you have learned it. Make sure you practice what you've learned. Make yours. I would like to see yours. Thank you. And make sure you join me on the next tutorial.